Hey everybody, welcome to Music Talk with Guido Estevez. I'm filling in for Guido Estevez this week. I'm your host, Jason Cotton, and I'm here today with our guest, Levi Omundsen. Glad to have you on.
It's good to be back home.
So what can you tell us about your current work, what band you're in?
So I'm a published writer and a recording artist, and recently a music award winning artist. I'm in a group of fellas, and we started playing music in the garage. Is where it all starts. So my guys are branched out in this band that I'm in called Burns Within, and I got one guy that's in Petersburg, Indiana. I got one guy that's in Lafayette, Indiana. I got one guy that's from Noblesville, Indiana. I got one guy that's from Lafayette, Indiana, and then the other one's like up around Indianapolis, Indiana area. And then I'm like right on the Illinois border.
Right, so we're all spread out?
Yeah, we're all spread out. We play alternative metal.
Alt metal?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you said something a little bit about winning an award. What can you tell us about that?
I was nominated for 10 section nominations. I should have wrote them all down. But it's a lot. There's a lot of them. I was out of Atlanta, Georgia. So I had to fly to Atlanta, Georgia. I got nominated for 10 sections for the nominations, and flew to Atlanta, which was the first time going to Atlanta, which was really, really different because it was really hard to breathe there because of like the humidity.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm a smoker, so it was I didn't even have the urge to smoke a cigarette or vape. So it was
really that hard to breathe.
Yeah, the climate was really different than what it is back here at home. But flew there. It was a different atmosphere of fancy and bougie.
Yeah.
I showed up in a black long sleeve, half rolled up, and bell bottom blue jeans. And everybody was in blazers. It was really fancy. It was really cool, and it was pretty cool. But flew there, got to walk red carpet, got to have they did an interview with me.
Red carpet interview?
Yeah, red carpet interview. Which was really cool. And once you see the clip, I was really nervous.
Another familiar face. I know this guy. Tell us your name.
Levi Omundsen.
Levi Omundsen, also known as Omi. And tell me about your band name.
Burns Within.
Burns Within. He is here. I actually know him from back home. He is here for a boat ton of awards. 10 finalists.
Nominations. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, and you can't even list all those off. But so for the band stuff, the single stuff, I'm super excited for you. Which one are you hoping to take home the most today, if you were to get an award?
Gold Artist of the Year.
Artist of the Year. Heck yeah, that would be awesome. You got some pretty exciting stuff coming up too, don't you, Levi?
Yeah, I'm playing. I got a show coming up with Josie Scott, Saliva, and I'm playing in LA in like 3 days.
Awesome.
The Whiskey with Tantric.
Yeah, that's so great. So got some big names you're gonna come up networking with and playing before, and I wish you the best of luck today. Where did you come here from?
Park County, Indiana, Montgomery, Indiana.
Yeah, Hoosier in the house. That's actually where I was originally from too. All right, so you're from back home in Park County, Indiana.
Yeah.
You almost didn't make it here, but you finally made it in, and I'm super excited for you. Is this your first award show?
Yeah, it's my first.
First award show, and so it's the ISSA, your first year with ISSA?
Yeah.
Wow, and up for 10 nominations. I'm super excited for you guys. I can't wait to see what happens. Where can we find your music?
Everywhere on everything.
Everywhere on everything.
On Pandora, everything.
Great, awesome. What's your last release that they can look up?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right, you guys, you want to check them out. Great performers, wonderful sound, original artists as always, and thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate you.
Well, yeah.
So, but it was really neat, and I was going not expecting to win anything, because there's like 7-8 billion people in this world.
Right.
And there's probably 4 billion doing the same thing that I'm doing. So I just went there just for a humbling experience. Especially being in college, and doing this and doing college part-time, and then going out on the road. And then my professors, a lot of amazing professors here, work with me. So I was like, hey, I got to be in Ohio. It's like, well, you have class that day. I said, well, it's in a month. Can we work something out? And then that's what's really awesome about DACC is that, they work with you, especially if you're in a, if you're have a professional career while you're coming here. And that's what's really awesome. And that's what, it's really appealing about this college, and it really helps, So, but it was cool. Atlanta was badass.
Oh,
honestly.
yeah?
It was badass. It was really cool. And then, they went through everything. And then they got to the band stuff and everything. They had the last one for Band of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting up on the third balcony. Cheapest tickets in the house. So I thought to buy a ticket to get in, even though I was nominated.
Right.
And I was up in H117. There was nobody up there.
H117.
There was nobody up there.
Just you, yourself, and
Yeah, just me, myself, and I. And then they said my band's name. And then all of a sudden, I hear our song playing. And then I see, on this, I don't know, like 15-foot,
big projector screen.
Big projector screen.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they're playing that. And I'm like, and I was like, no way. But there was more harsher, heavier cuss words than that when they said it in shock, And I was like, what? And I was like, man, I gotta run 3 stories down.
Because you're at the very top balcony overlooking everything. You got to run
I'm
down.
the poorest person in that house. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I'm like, oh man, I gotta run all the way down. And I was so worried that by the time I got there, I wasn't going to be able to say anything. And I wrote out like an inspirational speech of, and by the time I got down there, I got to the second balcony and I yelled, I'm on my way. I got to the first balcony from the third and I'm yelling, I'm still coming. And I get down there and I finally get down, all the way down. And I get up on stage and I'm breathing so hard.
Yeah, because you've run a marathon trying to get to stage.
Trying to get there. And I'm like, damn. And then I get up there and the guys look at me. He said, you need to say something now, because they were going to cut it and just go on to the next segment.
Mm-hmm.
And I get up there and I get shell shock.
Looking at the
all
crowd.
The lights, and I'm like, everybody's screaming and everything. I'm like, totally forget that I wrote something that I rehearsed like 50 times.
Just completely blanked, yeah.
Blanked. And then I said, I had to buy a ticket to get in. I got nominated for 10 music awards. I said, and it baffles me. I bought a ticket at the third floor at 117H, and I had to run all the way down here, and I can't hardly breathe right now. But it doesn't matter if you buy the most expensive seat in the house or the cheapest seat in the house. It's about what's inside. My name's Levi Omundsen, and I'm the best in the world today. Thank you very much, Atlanta. And I walked off. So
awesome,
it just came out that way.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really cool.
Oh, yeah. I would have killed to see the audience reaction on that.
Yeah, and everybody screamed and stuff, and
Heck
it was
yeah,
really,
man.
it was really exotic to feel and to experience. And then from me winning, and I didn't just win, it's just an award. It's considered a gold, which is like the best you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's where I won all my categories, all 10 categories. So then they gave me and the guys best band of the year, gold, and that makes me a gold judge for next year. So I'm an ISSA Music Award judge for next year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool stuff.
And I don't deserve it, but I've earned it.
Humility, like it.
Yeah.
I know you have a show coming up pretty soon, the Jackal show. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Jackal. So I put in. So it was like when you put in for these shows, it goes through 3 to 4 different ranks to get to the guy that makes the decision. So like a lot of artists they'll send something in and they'll just send one email. They use emails, guys. Emails. So,
that thing we don't use anymore.
Yeah,
those
everyone doesn't know. You email submissions, and usually you have a website that has all of your information. It has like a live video of you playing. It has your face value, ticket values, how many tickets you can sell. And all it just documented stuff of a portfolio. And you send that in, send those emails in. So then I've been trying to get with this band for 2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah. So I had emailed a lot, and then I found out who their tour manager was and their promoter. So you write the promoter guy, and then he gets a hold of touring management. And then there's one guy above them, and then that's when they make the decision. There's so many people that are sending these in, so a lot of people don't understand. It's like you can't just send in one submission. You can't just send in, one email. I usually get up in the morning, and I make sure that I email at usually around 11:30 a.m. for emails. Because when there's 50 or 100 or plus emails that are coming in, there's a chance that mine's going to pop up.
Right. You don't want to be drowned out.
In the first 50. Or you can send more than that, and if you make them really upset because you're emailing them too much, they'll eventually talk to you.
They'll be like, hey, come on, man.
They're like, hey, I've got all of them, all 25, Levi. I know your name now. Please stop emailing. I'll let you know. So consistency and persistence wins the race.
Right.
That's pretty much how it works. And I've been working trying to get with these guys because they play in Illinois. They play everywhere. And they're a huge band from the 80s. He's like some people that don't know. It's Jesse James is a guy. He gets up there with a chainsaw. Yeah, it's been about 3 years. And consistent, persistence wins the race, and that's pretty much the only way. And you got to be overly consistent and annoying. Right. You got to annoy them.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease, man.
Yeah, and eventually sometimes they get so upset, they're like, I'll give you a show. And then they're just hoping that you don't show up or you come and you don't do good at all. Especially like when you're starting out and you don't really have a big following or, a social media following. A lot of bands that, have 500 followers to 1,000 followers. We're almost getting ready to hit 10,000.
Right.
But, it all started from zero.
Right.
So there's a possibility of doing everything. So marketing and everything. Yeah, Jackal. So Jesse James is the lead singer, and Sturgis is it's a biker rally that he's famous for, and he has like a bar up there, and they have a huge like 80s throw concert of some of the best bands in the world and renowned bands, and he gets a chainsaw on stage, and he chainsaws everything, cuts everything in pieces.
Really?
And he uses his chainsaw to do like a guitar solo.
Really?
Yeah, he's got a guitar that is a chainsaw.
Oh,
too.
Shoot.
That's got a chainsaw on it.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
That's pretty
so
cool,
it's pretty wild. I got that coming up, and then we got a show with Saliva, which is Josie Scott Saliva, which is the original Saliva band. We got that in December.
In December?
Yeah, that's a big banger. That's gonna be really fun. It's December 29th. The Jackal show is the 21st of November.
Oh, so you got a couple shows pretty soon, yeah?
Yeah, a couple big ones.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. With all these shows coming up, I got to ask, how did you get started in music? How was it getting started,
So I was I took an extra class in like high school choir because it was easy.
High school choir, yeah.
It was easy, and I could sing a lick a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit and stuff. And then there's a group of guys that like jammed out, and they're like, hey, you sing? And I was like, I don't like to. And they're like, well, you're pretty good. I said, I don't think I'm that good, and stuff. And then I played guitar first. That's what I want to be. Everyone wants to be a guitar player.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to play a guitar player and stuff. And but yeah, I got stuck every no matter what group I got with. They're like, you're gonna sing, man. You're just
you're just too good to not be the singer.
Yeah. And then it was that. So I got stuck with that every time. So then I took that role, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna use what tools I have and what I'm good with, And I started I was in my first band when I was 15.
Really?
15 years old. I started playing like guitar and singing everything probably around 7, 8 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Early start, yeah.
Yeah, really early. So, and it was one of those things that I think it was just supposed to happen type of thing.
Yeah, you're meant for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just had the tools for it, so it worked out.
That's pretty cool. And when did your current band kind of originate? How did that start?
Oh, they were together for 10 years. I got a phone call and was asked to do a fill-in show because their lead singer left. Mm-hmm. And a lot of bands go through several lineup changes and everything. And at this time, they weren't really established. They had done a few big things. They signed a low-end record label deal with Pavement Records. Mm-hmm. And then it didn't work out, and legal issues and stuff. Record labels are, depending on what ones you get, they suck the life out of you like a leech and stuff. So then they actually dropped that label. And the lead singer, I think the lead singer he was just like, man, this is too difficult. It's too expensive. This is really hard. Mm-hmm. Really hard to keep consistent at this and not struggle financially. And then he left, and his name was Danny Rivers. And then I got called to fill in because they were playing a show with a band called Saving Abel. Mm-hmm. And it was up at the Emerson Theater in Indianapolis. And I get a phone call, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't really do that anymore, because I have a job, and I'm just doing, regular things. Right. Adulting. Yeah. And they're like, well, it's at a theater. And I'm like, oh, I thought you were like, it's at a pub or something. I said, no, it's kind of a big deal. And I looked into it, and I said, yeah, that's probably the biggest stage I ever played on. It's a big, big stage. So then showed up, did rehearsal. I had 7 days to learn 5 songs I never heard before. Because I wasn't familiar with them. Right. But they were together for about 12 years now. Mm-hmm. Before my time, 8. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. They gave me a phone call, and then after that, they asked me to do an album with them, and they handed me 30 songs. I said, I'm not doing 30 songs. I'll do 5. I'll pick 5 that I like. I'll do one album, and then, I'm going to go on and work a factory job and work on a 401k and everything and
all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then something happened special. That doesn't happen to everyone. Mm-hmm. And then we just started getting phone calls to play with some of the biggest bands, and iconic bands in the world. Mm-hmm. Played with Puddle of Mud. It's a big band we played with. Played with Buck Cherry. Mm-hmm. We played with a band called Texas Coalition. They're really huge right now. They're Texas rock and roll. They're taking over everywhere. They're doing really good. Played with Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. Played with Hinder. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Played with Killer's Confession, Butcher Babies, Attila, John 5, Rob Zombie, and then way more than that. Right. So it's been very very blessed for the experiences and everything. It's been a crazy ride.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Jackal though, that's a bucket list one for me.
Yeah.
For real. It's the first like real 80s band that I really got to, because I sing sort of like an 80s wail vocals.
Right. So yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What was your first I guess, gig as, like, before the band you're currently in? What was kind of your first gig playing at, like, a pub or?
Actually, my first paying gig. Brian Cooper from Tilton, Illinois, gave me my first gig.
Really?
Yeah. I went. I was getting ready to be done. This was like when I was getting ready to be like done, just doing music stuff and everything. And then they were having like a somewhat of a little competition thing at a pub. And this is right before like open jam started and open mic started, like that craze. So this was like at the beginning of that, when all that stuff started, to where you could go somewhere and play original music. So then I went. I played a few originals on acoustic, and he says, "Hey man, like, you're really loud and you can't play very well, but there's something about it that sounds different. Would you like to come, like open up for my band?" I'm like, "Dude, yeah." And he said, "We'll even pay you." I said, "What? What's that?
What's payment? I've
What's
never heard
paid,
this word before.
What's getting paid for music? That's that's rad, because I'm not playing covers, So and then that was my first gig, mainly like Brian Cooper was like the guy that really discovered me and helped me go to the next thing, and then the next thing led me to the next thing. So
awesome. And from your first gig to now, what has been kind of your best experience, best performance you've ever put on that has really either wowed the crowd or even wowed you by the experience?
Well, there's a few. Okay, so when I performed at Corn Crib Stadium, opening up for Puddle of Mud, I bought that album.
Yeah.
I went to, was it FYE, or there was a back when you went, there's stores where you bought CDs.
The music seat,
yeah. You go in there, and like if you didn't know what band it is, a lot of people would just buy it because if the album looked cool, the album cover looked cool, whatever. But I bought Puddle of Mud's, the Blur album, and I got the opportunity. I submitted to play with them, and I was like, there's no chance this is going to happen,
right?
At all. And it happened, and I was blown away. And then so I went to Normal, Illinois, and I performed at Corn Crib Stadium with them, and that was a baffling. It was one of those. I was on stage, and I got emotional, like the feeling of like, this is possible.
Right.
It does happen.
Right.
I don't just have to have a 20-mile radius mentality. There's more, type of feeling, spiritual feeling, really. That was cool. A very iconic moment is I did Red Hot Winter in Champaign this last year. And they sold out. It was a sold-out show. Saved money. We raised money and used money for people that don't have health insurance, affordable health insurance for families, like families that have children that don't have good health insurance, and children that have cancer and everything.
Yeah.
And so we had 2 nights, like sold-out nights, and just the rattle of just the audience when you're in front of 1,000 people or sometimes more.
Right.
It's a very it's an iconic feeling.
Yeah, almost like starstruck.
It's insane, and it's the fastest, crazy. It's the fastest. A song is 2 to 3 minutes, and like if you do a song set, it's usually 15 minutes on a big stage in front of thousands of people sometimes, and it is the fastest 15 minutes of your life. It feels like it's 10 seconds and it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. So it's very addicting.
Yeah,
so like it's traveling state to state and going everywhere. But that one, the Red Hot Winter shows, are as of now, and they've been doing it for a long time before me, years and years and years, and I'm so blessed that I got a phone call. my producer from Nashville calls me and he says, "Hey man, I need you to send me a video of you singing some covers." And I'm like, okay. So and then that's how I got that one, and I'm very blessed. And Rod takes care of, got a good music family and production family and everything for that show. You know, and the Pedal Mud show, even when I do shows with artists that, like, you know, I bought the Hinder album, you know, Lips of an Angel. I bought that, you know, album, and, you know, or Jumpsuit Apparatus, you know, Face Down, you know, all that. I've done all, you know, every one of them is an accomplishment, but it's just being able to open up for my favorite bands.
Right.
From when I was a teenager. It's badass.
Pretty cool experience,
Yeah.
So in your current band, is there like one person who does the writing of the songs, or is that like a collaborative effort with all you guys, or?
Well, the album that we won the piece for is Onism album, and so Ryan Klein and Mike Riley wrote all the music for that album, which some of the songs I picked out of those, the 30 songs that they allowed me to pick from, were 15 years old instrumentals that they had wrote for the last 15 years and stuff.
Right.
So, but yeah, they usually wrote everything, and now we've had a massive line change up. We got new members. We got Lenny, he's our new bassist, and then we got Mark, so our new lead guitarist. But then it's me, Brian, and Mike now. But yeah, Mike and Ryan used to write all the instrumentals and all the music. And then when I came in, I was the first vocalist that was allowed to write lyrics.
Really?
Which was really cool. That, you know, they're like, you're actually decent at this, you know. And before getting in the band, I had somewhat of a successful career of you know, doing solo stuff. Before I got with the guys, I already had 2 previous TV performances and stuff like that. So but I've been in the game for 15 years, you know. So, but yeah, it's really it's just neat how I got here.
Yeah. Speaking of writing, what is kind of like your writing experience? What do you go through in writing? Do you do lyrics first, music first?
Well, I find a melody, and then I write the guitar to that melody. So it's usually the singing's first. Usually, most bands, they write an instrumental of some sort, and then you put a layer on top of it of everything else. Usually starts from guitar. Sometimes this band starts from the bass, so we're very like bipolar on where it starts from. But me personally, it was always I would sing a melody and then I would write to that melody. How I learned how to write, like, because I've had well now 10 radio hit songs, actual radio hit songs, so I sat down one day and I printed out a printout of like the biggest song. And what I did was I counted. Here's my secret. So I looked at it and I counted the poetic formula. So I counted so many words to the ending hook rhyme word, and then so many words. And then there was another rhyming that rhymed to the third up. So I figured out how they wrote the formula, the mathematical formula of how they wrote their hits, and all their songs were like that. So then I started writing my lyrics like that, you know, in that pattern. And then songs became more popular. It was more memorable. So it's like that's how I figured out my formula. And just I'm not a guitar player, really.
Right.
You know, but that's pretty much how I do it.
Good deal. So one last question for you. Do you have any advice for people starting out in music?
Yeah. So starting out, I auditioned for American Idol, I auditioned for The Voice. I did all that stuff, trying to sing and everything. Your biggest enemy is turning people into believers. I had to perform with a lot of big bands to get rid of the haggling. Haggling is the worst thing. It's the worst thing, man. I went and auditioned for American Idol, and then I came home, and then a lot of people are very unkind, and people love failure. It was really hard. I was 22 when I went to Nashville, Tennessee, and it was hard coming home and not becoming an alcoholic or getting into, addiction or anything, because feeling like failure. It's okay to fail, because the next time you know what not to do the next time. Yeah, but the biggest and the hardest enemy of anybody that's trying to get out of the 20-mile radius mentality is a 20-mile radius person with a 20-mile radius mentality. And that's pretty much the hardest thing. As long as you don't read the comments on your social media.
Yeah.
Listen. I wake up every morning. I listen to inspirational speeches. I write the way that I feel. And then what I'm passionate about, and what matters to me. And that's all that matters. Nothing else that anybody thinks or anything. So don't get caught up in thinking you need to accomplish things for love. Or accomplish things. You don't have to accomplish things to be valued. You're good enough as you are.
Right.
And a lot of times we forget that. We really do.
Right. Just be yourself and believe that you can do it, man.
People like a person that's themselves. Be honest about who you are. Even when you're on the stage, don't dress like I got into where I was like, man, I gotta look like this.
Right.
My hair's gotta be this way. I gotta get tattoos like this. I gotta wear, cut off this. I gotta wear black all the time, which I'm wearing black right now.
Bad example.
Black is overrated, and let you know, because when you play with big artists, they don't usually wear black anymore. So the color scheme is, wear blue, yellow, or something.
Yeah.
Some colorful stuff.
Get outside that box, man.
Yeah. Don't embarrass yourself just for some views.
Right.
Don't do it, because one day you'll wake up and you won't know who you are anymore.
Right.
And that's a big thing. A lot of these young artists, kids as I call them, because I'm getting up there in age. But a lot of these kids, they will do obnoxious things, and interpreters, they be interpreting other people's music, trying to get views because people want to watch, what's already trending and stuff. And then they get into that, and they're living someone else's accomplishments. It's not their own. And that's where, the mental health, the depression, everything sinks in.
Right.
And then makes you want to give up.
Right.
Just be yourself. That's way cooler. It is. And being weird. Be weird, because I'm really weird. I'm a weird guy. And I was in school. I didn't fit in school or nothing like that. Right. And the weird ones usually win, so be weird.
Be yourself, be weird, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, being with me. It was great talking to you.
Thanks, man.
And thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.